What if Earth stopped spinning for just 1 minute? Imagine the world as you know it suddenly grinding to a halt, the massive sphere beneath your feet no longer rotating with its usual steady rhythm, the same rotation that has quietly dictated the cycle of day and night for billions of years. In the very first fraction of a second, the unimaginable force of inertia would remind every living thing that Earth has never been truly still. Oceans, winds, and even your own body would desperately cling to the momentum of a planet moving at over 1,000 miles per hour at the equator, yet the ground beneath would no longer keep pace, and this instant mismatch between body and planet would unleash a chain of catastrophes so staggering that it is almost beyond comprehension. For most of us, it is easy to forget that we are constantly riding this immense rotating sphere. But if that rotation paused for even 60 seconds, we would be pulled into a drama of physics that would shake every corner of the globe. Picture yourself standing outside on a calm day, perhaps watching the sun climb lazily into the sky, and then in one blinding moment, the stillness of the ground betrays you, the atmosphere itself tearing forward with unstoppable speed, flattening forest, cities, and mountains in a hurricane of unimaginable violence. The air, no longer held gently in balance by the synchrony of rotation, surges eastward with the momentum of an entire planet. Buildings collapse as if they were made of paper, trees snap like fragile twigs, and waves rise up on oceans, slamming coastlines with walls of water hundreds of feet tall. The first sensation would be the roar, a deafening thunder of winds that carry not just air, but stone, steel, and entire landscapes ripped free in the surge. In that first minute, humanity would come face to face with the raw power of a rotating planet suddenly unbound from its rhythm. If we step back and think scientifically, the Earth's rotation is the quiet engine that governs so much of our daily experience, from the length of a day to the flow of weather systems and even the shape of the planet itself. At the equator, the spin creates a slight bulge, flattening the poles just enough to give Earth its familiar oblate form. If that spin stopped, even briefly, gravity would begin pulling the oceans and atmosphere toward the poles, though this redistribution would take more than a single minute to fully unfold. Yet even in those 60 seconds, the abrupt pause would be enough to send ripples of chaos across every environment we depend on. The momentum of the oceans alone would carve scars into the continents, drowning coastlines and reshaping riverbeds. Planes in the sky would suddenly find themselves caught in turbulent air, moving faster than any jet engine could compensate for, and satellites orbiting above would feel the planet below them shift in subtle but catastrophic ways. The global communication networks that rely on precise satellite positioning could flicker into chaos, and navigation would become impossible in an instant. The human toll is almost beyond imagining, as billions of people suddenly face a world where the air itself is moving faster than the speed of sound relative to the surface they stand upon. Yet let us consider what happens after that single minute ends and Earth begins to spin once more. The atmosphere, still churning violently, would crash against a surface accelerating beneath it, creating a second wave of devastation. Fires would rage from friction and electrical storms, and landscapes already shattered would be battered again. The oceans would slosh violently as the rotation reasserted itself, sending tsunamis racing outward in all directions. Tectonic stresses would be amplified by the sudden shift in forces, and earthquakes could ripple across continents. The biosphere would face near total collapse as delicate ecosystems are ripped apart, and even the geology of the planet would bear new scars etched in mere moments. Humanity would awaken into a new world, one reshaped not by centuries or millennia, but by 60 seconds of planetary pause. Beyond the physics and destruction lies a deeper question. The rotation of Earth is something we rarely notice, yet it is the quiet heartbeat of our home. To lose it, even briefly, would be to reveal how fragile the balance of our existence truly is. Every sunrise, every tide, every gentle breeze is tied to this rotation, and without it, we would be adrift in a reality too violent to endure. The thought experiment forces us to reflect not just on the raw power of the forces around us, but on our remarkable luck to exist within such balance. What if Earth really did stop spinning for 1 minute? The answer is that the world would never be the same again. But perhaps more importantly, it reminds us that the world we have is already extraordinary, and that sometimes the most powerful truths are hidden in the quiet rhythms we barely notice. After 60 seconds of unimaginable chaos, the Earth resumes its spin, but nothing returns to normal. Cities that once glittered are now reduced to rubble. Their skylines collapsed beneath winds and waves that no structure was ever built to withstand. Survivors would stagger out into landscapes stripped bare, where forests are flattened, deserts reshaped, and coastlines drowned under new configurations of sea and stone. The delicate balance of ecosystems collapses instantly as predators and prey, plants and pollinators, all find their worlds erased in the span of 1 minute. The planet would carry scars that would take millions of years to heal. Yet for those alive in the aftermath, the memory would last far longer than the physical marks. Humanity would face a question it had never been forced to ask before. How do you rebuild a civilization when the very rhythm of your planet betrays you? The climate, too, would never recover to what it was. Weather patterns depend on rotation to distribute heat and moisture across the globe. Without that balance for even a brief time, the atmosphere is destabilized. Jet streams become chaotic. Storms form in unusual places, and global temperatures shift in unpredictable ways. Agriculture collapses as the seasons no longer follow familiar rules. Crops fail, livestock perish, and societies built on a predictable harvest face famine. Technology would offer little relief. Satellites knocked out of orbit would leave us blind, while power grids and communication lines torn down by winds and water would plunge entire nations into silence. The human population would shrink rapidly, not through slow decline, but in a sudden catastrophic fall. And yet within the horror lies the profound truth that such a scenario reminds us of. Our planet is not guaranteed stability. The quiet spin we depend upon is the result of cosmic chance, born from the collision that created our moon billions of years ago. Without that spin, Earth would not be the same world, and we would not be here to imagine its loss. The exercise of asking what if Earth stopped spinning for 1 minute forces us to recognize the extraordinary fragility of our existence. Every sunrise, every tide, every gentle breeze is part of a rhythm that has held for eons, and only in imagining its absence do we truly understand its importance. In the end, the question is not whether Earth could ever stop spinning for 1 minute, because physics assures us that it cannot. The question is what we learn from contemplating the impossible. Perhaps the greatest lesson is that the balance we take for granted is both rare and precious. To live on a planet that spins steadily, to watch the days and nights follow each other in harmony, is a gift that shapes not only our environment, but our very sense of time and being. So when you next stand beneath the sky and feel the breeze on your face, remember that you are riding a world spinning with perfect precision, and that without it, life as you know it could not exist. What if Earth stopped spinning for just 1 minute? The answer is destruction beyond measure, but also a reminder to cherish the silent, invisible forces that make our world home.